What is up, guys? Today we're going to be replacing our brake master cylinder, and the first thing you want to do, if you can't tell, is there's no washer fluid container here. That just kind of slides up. You got this little V-shaped clamp that goes on, and then there's some connectors on the bottom and some hoses. I'm redoing those hoses, so I cut mine off, but you might want to put them back on, or you might want to be careful with them if you want to put them back on. So that's that. Once you get that out of the way, you want to drain your brake fluid, and I did this a couple different ways. Right here I've got a syringe with a straw tape to the end of it that I used to suck most of it out. And then, as you can see, I've got my old trusty brake bleeder kit right here. I just came over, took that, opened up the little, let's see right there we go. I just opened that up and I went and just pushed the brakes until it was out of fluid. This is going to introduce air into the lines, but we're going to bleed it anyway. You know, we're just going to do that. Okay, and then once we're done there, we're going to go ahead and come up here, and you can see I've already done this, but there are 3 brake lines that come out of here. And those 3 brake lines, they're pretty difficult to get off actually, and they're 10mm bolts. So I've got my little 10mm wrench here, and what I was doing is I was trying to take it off, but unfortunately it started bending the metal on the nuts, and I didn't want that. So what I had to do, I first sprayed it with some WD-40, let it soak in for a bit, and then I grabbed some vice grips right here, and I clamped down on it, and I had to break them loose. And once they broke loose, they just slid off really easily. But you have to break them loose if it's been stuck on there for a while, which I believe this is original to the car. So that was that. Next thing we're gonna do, and you can see I've already partially done. There's a screw there next to the air intake, a screw back there, and then one more on the nut right there for the brake master cylinder, and that holds in a heat shield. We're going to need to take that off because it comes off with everything else and it's going to get in our way. I'm actually going to be repainting part of my car because the brake was leaking and it was getting all over and rusting. So that's kind of why I'm taking that out of the way too. You might be able to do it without, but I'm just going to just in case. So once that's off, then we can go ahead and take, there's 2 bolts that hold on. Let's see if we can see. Right. Sorry, my camera is pretty stupid. It doesn't like focusing on the middle. There we go. If you can sort of see that, there's a nut there. There's 2 nuts, one on both sides. Those are 12mm. If I didn't say, the brake lines were 10mm. So we're gonna go ahead and take off those, and then we should be good to take this out and put the new one in. Alright guys, so once you get your brake master cylinder all undone, all the bolts, it should just come right out. You just have to kind of like pull the little plugs out of here. They stick themselves in, and then it should come right out. If you can see, mine's been leaking a whole bunch, and you can definitely tell over here where it's just absolutely degraded the bottom of my brake master cylinder booster, the brake booster. So what I did is I went ahead and I'm sticking saran wrap kind of stuff on all the lines and in the hole, and I'm actually just going to wash this out real quick, just because I'm going to repaint as much as I can, just to preserve its quality, its life. And then I'm actually going to remove this 3rd one right here. It actually comes down, I don't know if you can see or not, down in here. There you go. It actually has a couple screws in there. I'm gonna actually just remove that one entirely. There's one there, and then there's one right over there. I'm just gonna take that one out so that when I do repaint, it's not gonna be in the way, and we'll get a good coat everywhere. But yeah, so the brake fluid, it actually just peels up your paint. So if you think, why is this rusting under here? And you can like peel the paint off like a skin, it's probably your brake fluid that is leaking. So that's the main reason why I'm doing this. And then we're gonna go ahead, so we're gonna go and wash that off, and then we can paint it and put the new one back in. Alright guys, hopefully you can hear me over the wind, but as you can see, we have our new brake master cylinder in. Basically, installation is the opposite of taking it off. Just stick it back on. If you can see here, the plate for the heat shield goes on top of the brake master cylinder. That was one thing it took me about 3 minutes to figure out which went on first. So once you get that on, just go ahead and plug these down. I put a comment below, but I wanted to say anyway, there's actually brake line tools that you need. They're basically open-end wrenches. They kind of look like these. It's right here. But they have 5 of the 6 sides built in, and it goes over the brake line. That way you don't strip it like I started to do. Other than that, the new one that I got from Rock Auto, it has a relocated kind of sensor here for the low level. And if you can tell, or you can't tell, sorry, but there's like a little clip on this side. And what I wanted to tell you is that I had to actually shave mine off with a little X-Acto knife. I shaved it down a little bit just because the new one was too thick and the old one would go on. But that's pretty much the only problem that I've faced so far, and I think that is it. So basically what's next is to fill this up with new brake fluid, and we have to go and bleed the brakes on all 4 corners. The bleeding pattern is, I don't know, I've seen a couple different ones from driver's side back to the other side and then here and there. But I've always read the furthest away, which would be, sorry about that, guys. But I've always read furthest away, which would be the back corner, and then driver's side, and then the passenger side front, and then finally the one right next to the brake master cylinder. I don't think it matters too much. Do whatever you think makes the most sense. I'm going to do the furthest, then this one, and that one, this one. I don't think it'll really make that much of a difference, but that's on me. Also, you guys may have seen one of my update videos, but I have brake fluid. It's .5.1. It's supposed to be some fancy new stuff. It's synthetic, and it doesn't get water fouled as easily. So I'm going to be trying that out. It also has like a higher boiling temperature, but I don't know how often I'm going to take this to a track or anything to get really high temperatures in my brakes. So I don't really think that applies too much to me. Other than that, that's how you guys redo your brake master cylinder. And if you have any questions, please ask me. And I probably did something wrong. I don't know. Also tell me if I did that wrong, and I will try to make amends. Thanks, guys, and I hope this helped. I will see you later.